Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So text 1. Sutta Uvacha Mahipate Satat Karma Gariyam Vichintayan Atmakritam Sudurmanaha Aho Mayani Chamanarya Vratkritam Niragasi Brahmani Gota Tejasi.
Sri Sutta Goswami said, while returning home, the king, Maharaj Parikshit, felt that the act he had committed against the faultless and powerful Brahmana was heinous and uncivilized. Consequently, he was distressed.
Text 2. Dhruvam tato me kritadeva helanad duratyayam vyasanam nati dirgata tadastu kama viyaga niskritya me yatha nakuryam punareva mada.
King Parikshit thought, due to my neglecting the injunctions of the Supreme Lord, I must certainly accept some difficulty to overcome me in the near future. I now desire without reservation that the calamity come now, for in this way I may be freed of the sinful action and not commit such an offense again.
Text 3. Atyaiva rajyam balam ratakosham prakopita brahmakula nalame dahatva punarname bhut prapapi yasite dvichadeva gopya.
I am uncivilized and sinful due to my neglect of Brahminical culture, God consciousness, and cow protection. Therefore, I wish that my kingdom, strength, and riches burn up immediately by the fire of the Brahmana's wrath, so that in the future I may not be guided by such impious attitudes.
Text 4. Text 4, isn't it? Sachintayan itam atashnota yatha mune sutokto niratis takshakakya sasatu mene nachirena takshaka nalam prasaktasya virakti karanam.
While the king was thus repenting, he received news of his imminent death, which would be due to the bite of a snake bird, occasioned by the curse spoken by the sage's son. The king accepted this as good news, for it would be the cause of his indifference towards worldly things.
Text 5. Atho vihayamam amam chalokam vimarsitau he yata purastat Krishnan grisevam adimanayamana upavisat prayamamartyanatyam.
Maharaj Parikshit sat down firmly on the banks of the Ganges to concentrate his mind in Krishna consciousness, rejecting all other practices of self-realization, because transcendental loving service for Krishna is the highest achievement, superseding all other methods.
Text 6. Yavaila sakshri tulasi vimisra Krishnan gririn vapayati कम्बुनेत्री पुनातिलोकान् उभयत्र शेषान् कस्तं न सेवेत मिरिष्यमाणः.
The river by which the king sat to fast carries the most auspicious water, which is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord and tulsi leaves. Therefore, that water sanctifies the three worlds, inside and outside, and even sanctifies Lord Shiva and other demigods. Consequently, everyone who is destined to die must take shelter of this river.
Text 7. इति व्यवचित्य स पाण्डवेयः प्रायोपवेशं प्रति विष्णुपाद्यम् ततो मुकुन्दान् ग्रिमनन्यभावो मुनिव्रतो मुक्तसमस्तसङ्ग.
Thus the king, the worthy descendant of the Pandavas, decided once and for all and sat on the Ganges bank to fast until death and give himself up to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who alone is able to award liberation. So freeing himself from all kinds of associations and attachments, he accepted the vows of a sage.
Text 8. तत्रोपजग्मु पवनं पुनाना महानुभावा मुनयः स शिष्यः प्रायेण तीर्थविगमपदेश्यः स्वयं हि तीर्थानि पुनन्ति सान्तः.
At that time, all the great minds and thinkers, accompanied by their disciples and sages, who could rarely sanctify a place of pilgrimage just by their presence, arrived there on the plea of making a pilgrimage journey.
Text 9 and 10. अत्रिर्वसिष्ठश्च्यवनशरद्वान् अरिस्तनेमिर्भृगु अङ्गिरश्च पराशरोगातिसुतो सुतोऽथ रामा उत्थत्य इन्द्र प्रमदितमावहौ नेतातिथिर्देवल अर्तिसेनो भरद्वजो गौतमपीपलादः मैत्रेय औरव कवच कुम्भयोनिर्द्वैपायनो भगवान् नारदश्च.
From different parts of the universe, there arrive great sages like Arti, Chifyana, Saradarvan, Arastanmi, Ruhgu, Vyasta, Parasara, Visvamritri, Angrira, Parashurama, Uttaya, Indriya, Pramanada, Idmavavu, Medhatiti, Divala, Artisina, Bravaja, Gautama, Vibalada, Matireya, Aruva, Kavasa, Kumbayoni, Devapayana, and the great personality Narayana.
Text 11. अन्ये च देवर्षि ब्रह्मर्षिवर्या राजर्षिवर्या अरुणादयश्च नानाश्रये प्रवरन् समेतान् अप्यार्च्य राज शिरसा ववन्दे.
There were also many other saintly demigods, kings, and special royal orders called Anadayas, a special rank of Raja rishis from different dynasties of sages. When they all assembled together to meet the emperor Parikshit, he received them properly and bowed his head to the ground.
Text 12. Sukhopavishtve sthatate subhuyaha krita pranama swachikirsitam yat vignapayam yasaviviktacheta upasthito gre vigrahita pani.
After all the rishis and others had seated themselves comfortably, the king, humbly standing before them with folded hands, told them of his decision to fast until death.
Text, text 14, no 13. Raja Uvacha Aho Vayam Dhanyatama Nrupanam Mahattamanu Grahanya Srila Rajnyam Kulam Brahmanapada Sauchad Durat Visrishtam Bata Karya Karma.
The fortunate king said, "Indeed, we are the most grateful of all the kings who are trained to get favors from the great souls. Generally, you, sages, consider royalty as refused to be rejected and left in a distant place.
Tasyaiva kasya paravareso vyasaktachitasya graheshvapiksham nirvedamulo dvijasaparupo yatra prasakto payam asudate.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of both the transcendental and mundane worlds, has graciously overtaken me in the form of a Brahmana's curse. Due to my being too much attached to family life, the Lord, in order to save me, has appeared before me in such a way that only out of fear I will detach myself from the world.
Text 15. Tamopayatam pratiyantu vipra Ganga cha devi tratachittamise Dvijo prasastha kuhakas takshako va tasatvalam dayata vishnugata.
O Brahmanas, just accept me as a completely surrendered soul, and let Mother Ganges, the representative of the Lord, also accept me in that way, for I have already taken the lotus feet of the Lord into my heart. Let the snake bird, whatever magical thing the Brahmana created, bite me at once. I only desire that you all continue singing the deeds of Lord Vishnu.
Text 16. Punascha bhuyad bhagavatyanante rati prasangascha tadashrayeshu mahatsu yam yam upayami sristim Maitri, Maitreyastu Sarvatra Nama Dvijabhayan.
Again, offering obeisances unto all you Brahmanas, I pray that if I should again take my birth in the material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all living beings.
Text 17. Tisma Rajatya Vasaya Yuktaha Prachina Muleshu Kuseshu Tu Dhiraha Udana Mukto Dakshina Kula Aste Samudra Patnya Swasuta Nyastabharaha.
In perfect self-control, Maharaj Pariksit sat down on a seat of straw, with straw roots facing the east placed on the southern bank of the Ganges, and he himself faced the north. Just previously had given charge of his kingdom over to his son.
Text 18. एवं च तस्मिन् नरदेवदेव प्रायोपविष्टे दिवि देवसङ्गः प्रस्यस्य भूमौ व्यकिरन् प्रसूनेर्मुद्दमुहुर्दुन्दुभयश्च नेतुः.
Thus the king, Maharaj Parikshit, sat to fast until death. All the demigods of the higher planets praised the king's actions, and in pleasure continually scattered flowers over the earth and beat celestial drums.
Text 19. Maharsayo vai samupagata ye prasasya satviti anu modamanaha uchu prajagnu grahashila sara yad uttama sloka guna virupam.
All the great sages who were assembled there also praised the decision of Maharaj Parikshit, and they expressed their approval by saying, "Very good." Naturally, the sages are inclined to do good to common men, for they have all the qualitative powers of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they are very much pleased to see Maharaj Parikshit, a devotee of the Lord, and they spoke as follows.
Text 20. Nave idam rajarsi varya chitram pavatsu krishnam samanuvrateshu yetyasanam rajakiritajustam sadhyo jahur bhagavat sarvakamaha. Hare Krishna.
The sages said, the sages said, O chief of the saintly kings of the Pandu dynasty, who are strictly in the line of Lord Sri Krishna, it is not at all astonishing that you have given up your throne, which is decorated with the helmets of many kings, to achieve eternal association with the personality of Godhead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Devansh. Neela Vasana Mataji, Madhavi Mataji, and Krishna Gopal. Thank you for your participation. So, dear devotees, today we are fortunate. We have Kanchanabja Prabhu, who's going to do a quick introduction of Prabhu before we start, so we can get to know him a bit better. Firstly, Prabhu, thank you very much for volunteering to be a facilitator for this wonderful chat group. You may know some of the devotees already on the group. You may not know some of them. They're an amazing group who have been dedicatedly for a long time coming together to discuss and learn the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam. So just a bit about Kanchanabja Prabhu. He's a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj. He started visiting Bhaktivedanta Mela regularly around 2001, so he's been here over a good 22, 23 years. And during that time, he has been teaching Krishna conscious philosophy since 2004 at different universities, spiritual gatherings, at the temple, even through the School of Bhakti. After qualifying as a chartered accountant, he went to India on the Bhaktivedanta Mela sabbatical program, and he spent 1 year at the Mela ashram to spiritually prepare him for the world ahead. He took initiation from Bhakti Swami in 2010, and quite recently he received second initiation in 2022 from His Holiness Chandramouli Maharaj. He's been working as a professional tutor since 2011, training graduates to succeed as chartered accountants. He loves spending time with his family and his 2 young daughters. And he's currently training in psychotherapy. How amazing. So thank you very much, Kanchanabja Prabhu. I think everyone is looking for you to hear you speak from Srimad Bhagavatam. And again, I'll address it for you to join us today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Thank you, Rasalila Srimati Mataji, for inviting me to speak here. I feel very honored to be among such a august assembly of devotees, and yeah, we're happy to share something from the Srimad Bhagavatam. We're on chapter number 19, and is it text 17 and 18, the ones we're discussing today? That's what was.
Double check.
I think that's what was given to me by Rasalila Mataji.
Well, if she's given to do it, it's 99.9%.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Yes, Prabhuji, it is 17 and 18.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you for joining us. Most welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Okay. And so shall I chant the Mangalacharan prayers? Is that all? Have we done everything? Shall I chant the prayers?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yes, please.
And the devotees can join you with unmuted mics.
Okay, great. And we've already read the text. So I can just refer to the text. Is that okay?
It'd be nice if you read the text here.
I can read them again?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Perfect. Okay. So I'll just read the text, and maybe then we can just chant the prayers and then have a little discussion. And also, can you tell me, I know that in terms of timing, are we still finishing around 8:30?
Generally, we finish around 8:30. We leave some time for question and answers, and then the devotees during Damodar month, they chant Damodar prayers. But if you need to move on from that point after the questions and answers, you can move on, Prabhu.
No, that's fine. Perfect. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay, so I'll just read text 17 and 18. I'll just read the English translation again. We'll chant the Mangalacharan prayers and then we can have a little discussion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'll just read text 17 and 18 in English, the translation, and then we can get into the Mangalacharan prayers and the discussion. So text 17, in perfect self-control, Maharaj Parikshit sat down on a seat of straw with straw roots facing the east, placed on the southern banks of the Ganges, and he himself faced the north. Just previously, he had given charge of his kingdom over to his son. And text 18, thus the king, Maharaj Parikshit, sat to fast until death. All the demigods of the higher planets praised the king's actions, and in pleasure continually scattered flowers over the earth and beat celestial drums. Okay. Shall I read the purports, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, you can read the purports as well.
Okay, so I'll read the purport. So the purport to text 17 is by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The river Ganges is celebrated as the wife of the sea. The seat of Kusha straw is considered to be sanctified if the straw is taken out of the earth, complete with root. And if the root is pointed toward the east, it is considered to be auspicious. Facing the north is still more favorable for attaining spiritual success. Maharaj Parikshit handed over the charge of administration to his son before leaving home. He was thus fully equipped for all favorable conditions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Is it possible for you to share the screen so we can actually follow the text?
Yeah, sure. Rasalila Mataji, are you okay to just share that? Because I'm just reading off my phone.
Hare Krishna, Jyoti Mataji, if you can please continue.
So just, yeah, thank you. The purport to 18, if that's okay, please. Thank you very much. Okay, so purports, text 18. Even up to the time of Maharaj Parikshit, there were interplanetary communications, and the news of Maharaj Parikshit's fasting unto death to attain salvation reached the higher planets in the sky, where the intelligent demigods live. The demigods are more luxurious than human beings, but all of them are obedient to the orders of the Supreme Lord. There is no one in the heavenly planets who is an atheist or non-believer. Thus, any devotee of the Lord on the surface of the earth is always praised by them. And in the case of Maharaj Parikshit, they were greatly delighted and thus gave tokens of honor by scattering flowers over the earth and by beating celestial drums. A demigod takes pleasure in seeing someone go back to Godhead. He is always pleased with the devotee of the Lord, so much so that by his Adidevic powers, he may help the devotees in all respects. And by their actions, the Lord is pleased with them. There is an invisible chain of complete cooperation between the Lord, the demigods, and the devotee of the Lord on earth. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so we can move back to the gallery setting now. We don't need to share anymore. Thank you, Jyoti Mataji. Thank you very much. We'll just chant the Mangala Charan prayers and then we'll have a little discussion. Thank you so much. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajataham Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you very much. So here we are in Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter number 19, reading text 17 and 18. So what we can see here is that Maharaj Parikshit, at this stage of the text, that Maharaj Parikshit has received the news that he is going to be, he has been cursed, and that in 7 days he's going to get bitten by the snake bird, and that is it. Everything that he has tried to achieve, everything that he has tried to do on this earth, in 7 days, his life on earth is going to be taken away by Takshaka, the snake bird, because Shringi has cursed him. Shringi cursed him. We all know why. Because when Maharaj Parikshit was in the forest, he went to the hermitage of Shamika Rishi, and in total hunger and total thirst, he acted in a way that was not his usual self. I'm sure we we've experienced times when we're very, very hungry and very, very thirsty, and we're not our usual self, maybe on Bhima Ekadashi day. Even though we're meant to be fasting on Bhima Ekadashi, Nirjala Ekadashi, and we are trying to fast with devotion, we can get a bit cranky. We can be a bit short with people, with others. And Maharaj Parikshit didn't act in a way that was his usual self. And we can see that this is because of the Lord's arrangement. When a pure devotee acts unconventionally like this, we understand that this is actually part of the Lord's plan, part of the Lord's arrangement. So Maharaj Parikshit, he out of anger, he flung a dead snake onto the sage, and the sage's son got very angry and cursed Maharaj Parikshit, and that he would die in 7 days. So this curse was not fitting for the, the punishment didn't fit the crime. The punishment was very excessive compared to the crime. It was an offense, but it didn't deserve such a heavy, heavy punishment. However, Maharaj Parikshit understood that when the curse came, that this is the will of the Lord, that this is the will of Krishna, that Krishna has come to him in the form of this curse, that this Brahmana son Shringi is a messenger of Krishna, that this is the time. And without any hesitation, Maharaj Parikshit handed over the kingdom to his son Janamjaya, and he went to the banks of the Ganges, where he met all these Brahminical personalities and very exalted sages, and wanted to just submerge himself in the teachings of the Lord. Fortunately, Shukadev Goswami turned up, and Krishna arranged for this situation for the Srimad Bhagavatam to be spoken to all of us. So what a lesson for us to accept the Lord's plan. So many times we come across so many reversals. So many times we come across so many challenges. So many times we come across so many difficulties. How often are we able to take these difficulties in our stride? And Maharaj Parikshit took the difficulties in his stride. How did he take the difficulty in his stride? Because he was not attached. He was not attached. He could give up his kingdom, he could give up his family, he could give up his body without any problem at all. How could he do this? Krishna says to Arjuna in the Gita, when it comes to mind control, when he's telling Arjuna, when Arjuna's asking him about mind control, Krishna says, Abhyasena tu konteya vairagyana jagriyate. He says to Krishna that through suitable practice and through detachment, you'll be able to control your mind. So what is this detachment, this vairagyana? This detachment means that at any moment, because of our unflinching attraction to Krishna, we can be detached from whatever we have, whatever possessions we have, whatever ties we have to this material world. So Maharaj Parikshit was ready to renounce. And the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is full of stories of devotees who have accumulated and achieved so much, but then are ready to renounce. We see this with King Anga. He had a kingdom, and then he had his terrible son, Vena, and then when the time came, he just renounced. We see with Prithu Maharaj, he was ruling the kingdom, he was such an ideal king, and then when the time came, he renounced. We see it with Dhruva Maharaj. He ruled the kingdom for 36,000 years, and when the time came, he renounced. So the Bhagavatam is full of stories like this. Why is it full of stories like this? Because we are also here. We're accumulating so much. We're achieving so much. But when the time comes, we need to renounce. And Maharaj Parikshit gives a wonderful lesson here, that when it is our time to renounce, yes, we have to renounce the worldly things we've achieved and maybe our ties and our connections that are holding us back in the material world. But more importantly, we can see that Maharaj Parikshit had held no grudge to Shringi. Even though the punishment was so excessive, he didn't hold a grudge. He didn't have to hold bad feeling against Shringi, and he didn't hold any bad feeling against Shringi. Something that was done to him which was unfair, it was unjust. If you look at it from the perspective of what actually happened in terms of the punishment and the crime, it was not fitting. However, Maharaj Parikshit did not see it like this. He could have counter-cursed, but he didn't. He accepted the Lord's plan. He prepared for death fearlessly. And he had full faith that Suridam Sarvabhutanam, that Krishna is my well-wisher, is the well-wisher of every living entity. He remembered that Krishna was the one that protected him. When he was in the womb of Uttara and Abhimanyu shot the arrow, Krishna was the one that protected him. Vishnurat, Krishna protected him. And he knows that even now, Krishna is protecting him. This is all part of Krishna's plan. For us, we can see Krishna's protection when things are going good, but when things are going bad, we don't see it as Krishna's protection. We generally see it as, why me? What did I do? I'm such a good devotee. But still this is happening to me. But Maharaj Parikshit is teaching us, yes, we may be a good devotee, but this may be the way Krishna is taking care of our situation. Even though it might be difficult to see at that time, we can understand that as devotees, Krishna is taking a special interest in our lives. And because he takes a special interest in our lives, we understand that his plan is for our ultimate benefit. His plan is for our ultimate benefit. And even though Maharaj Parikshit was cursed in such a way, he did not have to spend time offloading to others about how he got cursed and how unfair this curse is, how this should not happen to me. Why me? Why me? Why me? Maharaj Parikshit didn't get stuck in why me. How was he able to do this? Because he was from a lineage of the lineage of the Pandavas, and when we understand the Pandavas were very forgiving. I mean, the amount of atrocities they took from Duryodhan and Dhritarashtra and Dushashan, it was horrible, but they're so forgiving. They didn't hold any grudges. And Maharaj Parikshit comes from this wonderful lineage, and he grew up a devotee of Krishna. He grew up understanding that Krishna is the Lord. He grew up understanding that Krishna always is looking after me. So Maharaj Parikshit didn't hold the grudge. He was able to forgive. How was he able to forgive? Why was he able to forgive? Because generally when we hold on to something, when we are holding on to a bad feeling against someone else, and we're not able to forgive, the reason we're generally not able to forgive is because we want that person to learn a lesson. Why? That they need to learn this lesson. They have hurt me. They shouldn't have hurt me like this. It was wrong the way that they behaved, and they've hurt me so badly. And we're holding on to this pain. We're holding on, and when we hold on, we are in one sense imprisoning ourselves. I heard that a really nice quote, that forgiveness is letting the prisoner free and then realizing the prisoner was me. We think the other person is the prisoner, but actually we're the ones that are the prisoner when we are holding on to someone's misdeeds against us. So Maharaj Parikshit was able to forgive because he was a forgiving devotee. A symptom of a devotee is that a devotee is forgiving. A Vaishnav is forgiving. And if we think about it, if we really think about it, we understand these concepts of karma, and we understand karma means what goes around comes around. And if we really want someone to learn a lesson, then maybe we can pray for the devotees to learn their lesson in the most joyful and happiest way possible. Because if they learn their lesson, that's what we wanted, right? Is it that we actually wanted to cause them pain? Is it that we actually wanted to hurt them? Because if our bad feeling was stemmed and based on the fact that we wanted to hurt someone else, we wanted to hurt another devotee or hurt another person that has offended us, then what's naturally going to happen? If that's the energy we put out in the world, what goes around comes around. That is what we will get back. And if we really want to, actually, if we think of it like this, when we need to learn a lesson ourselves, how would we want to learn the lesson? Would we want to learn the lesson the hard way, or would we want to learn the lesson in the most joyful way possible? We need to learn the lessons because we want to grow. We want to grow spiritually because we want to connect to Krishna. So that's what we want to do. But do we want this lesson to come joyfully, or do we want this lesson to come painfully? I'm sure most of us want the lesson to come joyfully. We hear that Krishna says that when we hear that when Krishna is giving his real mercy, his special mercy, he takes everything away. And what do we do as devotees? We say to Krishna, Krishna, give me your mercy, but don't give me your special mercy. We don't want your special mercy. So yeah, sometimes the mercy is painful, but we don't want the painful lessons generally. We want the joyful lessons. If we want the joyful lessons for ourselves, then the best way to get that is to wish that on others, especially those that have hurt us. If we can wish that for others, that is what will come back to us. So Maharaj Parikshit held no bad feeling. He was ready. He left the kingdom. He went to the banks of the Ganges, and he understood this is Krishna's arrangement. This was Krishna's arrangement to take Maharaj Parikshit back to the spiritual world. This was Krishna's arrangement to give Srimad Bhagavatam to all of us. So he was okay. He went to the banks of the Ganges. He saw all these sages, these great brahmanas, and he said to them all, please, please, please bless me, that I have attachment for Krishna. I have association for devotees, with devotees all the time. And I have friendly relations with all beings. So even if someone makes us their enemy, a Vaishnava doesn't reciprocate that feeling. We don't want to be inimical towards anyone. Even if someone is inimical towards us, we don't want to be inimical towards them. And in the second text here, in text 18, it was quite interesting, I thought, in the purport, that so once Maharaj Parikshit, in the text that they're talking, the text is talking about how Maharaj Parikshit sat to fast until death. And in the purport, it said something very striking. In the purport, which we read earlier, it said that a demigod takes pleasure in seeing someone go back to Godhead. He's always pleased with a devotee of the Lord, so much so that by his Adi Devic powers, he may help the devotees in all respects. There is an invisible chain of complete cooperation between the Lord, the demigods, and the devotee of the Lord on earth. So I was thinking about this, the Adi Devic powers of the demigods. And I was thinking about how Srila Prabhupada was on the Jaladuta. And when he was on the Jaladuta, he had a very difficult time at the beginning. We all know, he had 2 heart attacks. He struggled on that ship. But then after some time, the journey seemed to get better. And I'm just going to read a few things from Prabhupada's extracts on his journey. So this is on on the Jaladuta in 1965. On the 11th of September, I'm just going to read you a few excerpts from his diary. At night, there was profuse moonlight on the ocean and considerable lurching also, but did not affect me very much as it used to in the Arabian Sea. The Atlantic Ocean is more kind to me than all other seas so far we have crossed over. It is all Lord Krishna's grace. Okay, so that was September 11th. And then on September the 13th, 1965, the captain tells that they had never such calmness of the Atlantic. I said it is Lord Krishna's mercy. His wife asked me to come back again with them so they may again have a calm Atlantic Ocean. If the Atlantic would have shown its usual face, perhaps I would have died. But Lord Krishna has taken charge of the ship. And September 14th, just again reading a little bit from the diary there. Okay, yeah. At 10 o'clock, when I was talking in the captain's room, the chief engineer, Mr. Travers, told me that he had never such experience of calm and quietness of the Atlantic Ocean. There was always typhoon, cyclone, fog, etc., at least for days in the trip in the past. I said it is Lord Krishna's grace. If such things as usual in Atlantic would have taken place, I would die. So we can see here this cooperation that Srila Prabhupada is speaking about, because Prabhupada said in this purport that he is always pleased with a devotee of the Lord, so much so that by his Adidevic powers, he may help the devotees in all respects, and that there's cooperation between the Lord, the demigods, and the devotees of the Lord. So we can even see an example here, this cooperation. Srila Prabhupada was on the Jaladuta, and somehow or the other, the Atlantic Ocean was very, very calm because of this cooperation by these Adidevic powers of the demigods. The Atlantic stayed calm. Krishna allowed the Atlantic to stay very, very calm, so Srila Prabhupada could cross the ocean and come to America and give us these wonderful teachings. So we're all very blessed and very fortunate, and thank you very much for your kind attention. It's 8:35, so maybe I should stop here, and if anyone would like to make any comments or share any reflections or questions, please feel free. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my humble obeisance unto you. All
Hare
glories to
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada.
Oh,
Thank you
good.
very much. It was wonderful listening to you. It was very nice how you connected in a very short time. You connected everything, and it was really blissful hearing you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your kind words.
Thank you. Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Kanchanabja, Prabhu. Thank you very much for your class. What my understanding is just Parikshit Maharaj, I mean, we are all reading and we are trying to understand how wonderful Parikshit Maharaj, why should it happen to him? You know, we are taking the pain of Parikshit Maharaj, you know, because he's wonderful devotee, he's from such a wonderful, but he's not thinking, why should it happen to me? He never thinks this way, you know.
Yeah.
That's a sign of a pure devotee. He understood straight away that it is Krishna's arrangement. So I should just accept it as it is. So that's the lesson I learned from here. That
Wonderful.
anything happens to me, anything, I just should think that it is all Krishna's element. Because nothing happened without Krishna's sanction. Nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Palika Mataji. Yeah, nothing happens without Krishna's sanction. So we can see that this is Krishna's plan. And if we understand that nothing can happen without Krishna sanctioning it, that means that Krishna has let this situation come to me. And if Krishna's let this situation come to me, that means there's definitely an opportunity for connection with Krishna through this situation that's come. And that's how Maharaj Parikshit saw it. He saw it as, okay, this is Krishna. He wasn't scared of death. See, for us, we think like, how can this happen to me? Or how could this happen to Maharaj Parikshit? Because we're scared of death. We have this fear. For us, death is the end. But for Maharaj Parikshit, death was going back to him, going back to Krishna in the spiritual world. So for Maharaj Parikshit, it was like, fine, time for me to go back to Krishna. And
He had the confidence. He had the confidence.
yeah, such a good point. He had the confidence. He had the confidence. He had the faith, and the deep understanding that my Lord has come for me now.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. That's a really, really powerful reflection. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I
Thank you.
remember you're teaching us, a long time ago, and now you're coming here, giving
Oh,
Bhagavad.
really? Where did I teach you?
I think it was Dina. What was his name? It was I forget his name. He used to teach us this. We started very, very gently into these courses. We used to have short courses, and he used to be there in the classroom. And I remember.
Oh, with Dina Krishna.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was like 20 years ago.
Yes, that was
wow.
20 years ago.
Wow, amazing. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Nice to hear from you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the
Hare
nice
Krishna.
class.
Thank you.
Very nicely explained about forgiveness. But forgiveness, it's not something that when we say we are forgiving someone, it's not that other person, because whatever we are brewing in ourselves, that person doesn't know, right? That we have to forgive him. Forgiveness is we kind of unlock ourselves. It's in our heart. We are suffering. That's why we have to let go. When we go to the manor, we see this big picture of the cow with the head of a man, and that man with the head of a cow. That is what goes wrong, it comes back. So this person, in his past life, maybe he has killed Mother Cow, and now she has come to kill her. In this way, it goes back. But this vicious circle should stop at some point. Like as devotees, we see the example of Parikshit Maharaj. He forgave. He didn't say anything. He just forgave. So if we manage to understand that when we are forgiving someone, we are just releasing whatever poison is in our heart so that we can be calm. The other person will not get anything. If suppose Parikshit Maharaj go and say, okay, I'm forgiving you, what would have happened? Nothing much. But he accepted it and he forgave. He didn't say anything. He didn't want to embarrass them, but he forgave. He didn't say anything. So this is the forgiving point that everybody should understand. Sometimes we say, okay, I just go, and it's kind of a word from the lips. I'm sorry, I did something wrong. But no, deep down, even if you don't go to that person, but if it's a devotee, we have to go to ask for forgiveness and do some seva to kind of remediate that situation, whatever we have done. Otherwise, if we see that we are going to embarrass that person by going and telling that person that, oh, I'm sorry, I did wrong also. So what we do, we just in ourselves forgive and let go. Don't keep inside. That is the worst thing, to just keep it inside. So thank you, Prabhuji. You touch on that. This forgive, only one word, you can give classes on that one. So thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Krishna. So also, I just remembered something. When Nelson Mandela, he was kept in the Alcatraz.
Yeah.
And that was like 27 years. They locked him there. He didn't see anyone. It was water around him. When he walked out of that prison, one thing he said, I will never forget, but I will forgive those persons who tortured me. Said that one, and then he walked out of the prison. That is his greatness. He would not forget because he suffered a lot. It is not easy to forget. But then he said he will forgive. Whoever has hurt him, he will forgive. And he was a powerful person, right? So we can get a great example like that. So thank you, Prabhuji. I just wanted to share the realization. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Indulekha Mataji. Yeah, it's a really very nice point that when we forgive someone, the other person doesn't even know sometimes, but it's up to us to forgive because it's good for us. We need to release ourselves. And if we do hurt someone else, then we should beg forgiveness, shama, and we should also do some service, anugraha. We should do some service for them to make up for what we did wrong. So yes, thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You know, today I attended Chiti Shakti Mataji's class, and she said that she mentioned that Vaishnavas are eternal optimists, and they see every situation and every experience as an opportunity for growth. So I like that one very much. So it was like any difficult situation, instead of thinking why me and why, so many things, you can always see that that situation and that difficult situation as opportunity for growth. For our growth.
Yes. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, every situation is an opportunity for growth. I like that Vaishnavas are, is it eternal optimists? Was that what you said?
That's right. Eternal optimists.
I like that. I really like that. Yeah. Yeah. When any situation comes, we can always ask ourselves these two things. What does Krishna want me to learn? And how does Krishna want me to respond? We can always ask ourselves. And if we ask ourselves these two questions, what does Krishna want me to learn? And how does Krishna want me to respond to this situation? In that way, our spiritual growth is always going to be dynamic and we'll always connect with Krishna in a deeper and deeper way. Thank you, Rupa Mataji.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My humble obeisances. Thank you so much for agreeing to facilitate. And it was a wonderful class. Very insightful and very informative. Thank you so much. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Mataji. Thank you. Hare
all
Krishna.
glories to your services. Hare Krishna.
All glories to you and all glories to your group. It's a really nice group and I feel honored to have been asked to come and share something. Thank you so much for inviting me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, and please come back again as well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
My humble obeisances to you. All glory to Prabhupada. Prabhuji was a very clear and concise class. For a person like me, it just went straight in. So it was wonderful. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Prabhuji, if you're ready, should we start with the Damodarashtakam?
Yeah, sure. Please carry on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, you have myself singing Damodarashtakam today, and then Shobna Mataji who will be doing the English recitation. And I'm a bit apologized because my laptop is doing some updates, so I can't share my temple. So I'm through phone, so I'll just sing it if that's okay. You won't be able to see the diva. Apologies for that.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Prajamanam Yashodabhiyoluktiladavamanam Paramarsa Atyanta Tutrute Gopya Rudandam Muhurnetra Yugman Mrijantam Karambojayugmena Satraknetram Muhuspasakam Patarikakakantha Stitagriva Bhaktipadam Iti Dvaksvalilabhi Anandakunde Swago Shanti Majantamakyapayantam Tatiyeshu Bhaktaijitatvam Puna Premata Santam Shatavrinde Varam Deva Moksham Na Moksham Vadimva Nachanyam Rineham Varejadapiha idam deva purnath gopala balam sada me manasye avrishtam ke manye. Idam te mukhambojam atyanta nile vritam kuntalai snigdha raktasya gopya. Muhu chambitam bimba raktadharam me manasye avristamalam lakshalape. Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu Prasidya Prabho Dukha Jalapti Magnam Kripa Drishti Vrishyati Dinam Batanu Grahane Shamamagnam Hitya Shidrisha Kuveratmajau Bhatta Mrityayadvata Vayamujitau Bhakti Bhajau Kritau Cha Tatha Prema Bhaktim Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Me Stidhamotareha Namaste Tudhamne Shuradi Pridhamne Tvadiyodaraya Vishwasya Dhamne Namo Radhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye Namo Nantalilaya Devavya Tubhyam Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokulam Prajamanam Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, Prabhuji and everybody. We'll go to Shobna Mataji when you're ready. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna. To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of external existence, knowledge, and bliss, whose shark-shaped earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula, who, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter, and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from a swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her, who ran after him with greater speed to that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he's crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord, Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with rope but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodara hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours, as Bal Gopala in Vandavana, may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use of me of any other boon besides this? O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me. O Supreme Lord, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me by showering your glance of mercy upon me. Deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes. O Lord Damodara, just as the two sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nalak Kuvara, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby tied with rope to a wooden grinding mortar. In the same way, please give to me your own prema bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation. O Lord Damodara, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent robe which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, for a wonderful recitation.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. That was really nice singing and very nice recitation. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, you can close the class. Thank you, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful class. Really appreciate.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you. Very nice class. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.